Innovator Series. Today we're here with Sai Venkataraman. I got it?
You got it.
All right, Sai Venkataraman from Discern Security. Discern Security came out of stealth mode last June with $3 million in funding to change the way we do security policy management, which we'll get into shortly. Sai, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the Innovate family. I'd love to jump right in and hear about you. I know Discern's not your first startup, not your first cybersecurity company. So I'd love to get a little background about what your past in cybersecurity startups and what those companies did.
Thank you, Eron. It's great to be here. I look forward to meeting you in person at the Nashville Summit. Before Discern, I was the CEO and founder of a company called Security Advisor. Security Advisor created a category called Human Detection and Response. It was acquired by KnowBe4, and it focused on fortifying humans and changing human cyber behavior. What that means is that a lot of incidents, a lot of breaches are because people are tricked into clicking on things, or people fall for online scams. And so Security Advisor had an interesting way of changing human behavior and giving people gentle nudges to fortify them. Before Security Advisor, I was part of the leadership team of FourthScale, which was a behavioral analytics company in cybersecurity again, and FourthScale was acquired by RSA. And before that, all three of us who started Discern, we were at McAfee running a whole bunch of products.
Fantastic. So the cybersecurity product space well. It sounds like you've had this focus in sort of behavior and behavior analytics in general. How did you come to that as a career focus? Was it just sort of a offshoot of McAfee and what you were passionate about?
Yeah, it's the theme of using technology to change human behavior. There's this Nobel Prize winning work by behavioral economists Kahneman and co, who looked at cognitive biases. People are not always rational. We are who we are with a set of biases, and I've always been fascinated by that. And then in McAfee, when we managed a set of products, we realized that in cybersecurity you could block things, you could stop people from doing things, but there was no gentler version of cybersecurity that helped people be who they are or be fully productive. It was always, don't do this, stop that. And so our version of security was, how can security be friendly? Can you be an advisor? Can you recommend to people, hey, this may be unsafe, but here's an alternative. And that was the theme. Within security, how can the CISO or the security team be a friend of the employee, an advisor to the employee, so that the employees can realize their full potential?
That makes total sense. And it's super interesting. It's the first time somebody said to me, I love geeking out on those social economics topics where it's like, in a rational world, we would all make these sort of super conservative decisions, but that's not human behavior. And same thing in cybersecurity, right? Like we make decisions all day long based on a lot of emotion, not necessarily we click on things because it seems urgent rather than like, wait, is that logical?
Exactly.
Makes total sense. Super curious. So human behavior, at what point did you kind of switch from human behavior analytics to like, let's look at policy and posture?
Yeah, as we're building Security Advisor, one of the things we realized, things get through to the user a lot of the time. And we realized that bad things get through to the user because the security products that are already there, customers are not making full use of them. In fact, we did some research and we found that customers are maybe making use of 20% of the controls available to them. And the remaining 80% is unused. They're spending money on it, they are spending time on it, but they're not making use of all the controls that they have. So the theme of Discern is in many ways a continuation of our Security Advisor journey. And we, the whole point of Discern is how do we fortify a customer's environment and how can we help them get more out of their security tools. And if that happens, users will get exposed a lot less.
Yeah, makes sense. So because we're okay, we've helped the humans make better decisions. Let's go lower in the stack so they don't have to make those decisions.
Exactly. The other big theme again is the same old trade-off between security and productivity. One of the reasons why security professionals are reluctant to turn on controls is because they worry, hey, if I turn this on, this may impact my organization negatively. It may impact productivity. And so how do we overcome those fears, and how do we help balance those concerns? That's another
Yeah.
big topic for us.
So I've seen a lot of in the past iterations of this idea of sort of policy management and orchestration, but I've never heard somebody say, you know what, this is really about getting everyone to use everything they have and actually take full advantage of their stack. Talk about that as a concept. You must have to connect to everything under the sun, collect it, know what it all does, like have expertise in each of those things. So what was the thesis on like how you guys are going to build this and make that work?
Yeah, our team, every one of our previous startups has been about integrations. When we coached humans, we integrated with 60 different tools and we found signals, and then we would nudge employees. So we have a long background and relationships with a lot of vendors. So you build startups that are close to your core. One of our core areas of expertise is building integrations with different vendors. So for Discern to fortify different tools, we need to integrate and deeply integrate with a number of security products. And previously we would pick up signals about the human. Now we pick up data about what controls are on, what risks are being detected, how do we map the controls they already have to the risks they have, and to different frameworks. And so we have a long and strong background in terms of building integrations, and we're building on it. But you're absolutely right. Integrations are core to what we build. Now, as an aside, security professionals too, they have a number of tools. They don't want yet another standalone startup solving yet another problem. They want something that plugs into their environment.
Absolutely. So talk to me about if if you're walking into a company and you want them to maximize their value on everything they're doing and improve their security posture, like what are the major sort of pieces that they got to realize? I assume you want them fully using their EDR.
Exactly.
I assume their Microsoft stack, like a lot of controls there that most people aren't using. Walk me through what's next on the list for you guys.
Yeah, you said it, Microsoft E3 versus E5, if they bought an E5 license, they've got 40, 50 security tools, and it's about the low hanging fruit. So in their EDR, they bought an EDR, they've rolled it out. A lot of customers probably rolled it out, and they forget that vendors are active. They launch new features. They forget that the EDR can be tied into different other tools as well. Microsoft E5, so many different security products, they need to turn it on. And there's always low-hanging fruit. One of our aha moment was whichever tool we hook into, be it EDR, be it Microsoft, be it identity, be it the SASE, we can integrate with these products. And there's always low-hanging fruit in terms of, hey, here are 4 things that you can do. One of our big insights after launching this company is that we need to give customers consumable insight. Hey, here are 3 controls you can turn on. Here's the prioritization. Here's how to do it. And this is the age of ChatGPT and AI. So we give them ChatGPT style instructions on, hey, here's how easy it is to turn on this control.
Yeah.
We can even do that, but customers like to think through it. They like to approve things. They like us to be part of their workflows. But there's plenty of low-hanging fruit. And then once there's trust, you can do the more complicated things.
Very, very cool concept. And also it reminds me of the pitch a little bit for the Wiz's and the Orcas of the world, but different. They're like, hey, let me just look at your cloud infrastructure. You're like, let me look at all your security tooling specifically, and not just cloud. That's a very cool application of looking at using APIs to pull in data. You guys leverage AI, and since that's such a hot topic, I feel like you have to kind of talk about what are you guys doing specifically in that world? And maybe it's not important, maybe it is.
Yeah, I feel like every security product now has some element of AI. We use AI to enable our vision, of helping customers turn on more controls. So, any customer we go to, we find hundreds of things that they can potentially turn on. So how do we prioritize? The first thing is normalizing signals from your EDR, your SASE, your identity tools, Microsoft and others, bringing it into a common framework. There's some machine learning there that's quite interesting. But the more interesting use cases are, we see ourselves as an automation startup, an automation of security management startup. So how can we give them very precise instructions on why this control is important? So we give them, hey, a ChatGPT style output where we say, here's why this control is the top control for you to turn on. And here's how you can do it. We can give them detailed instructions that are really simple that they can follow. And then we can say, hey, do you want me to create a workflow for this? Do you really want to do this? Do you want to address this? So cool. That's how we use AI.
Very cool. I think the concept of just, part of the reason that I would assume many people are missing controls is they just don't understand all these controls and what they do. So if you can level those people up in the way you explain it to them, that would seem to have huge value.
Yeah, and that's an education visibility assessments is a good way for us to get started with the customer.
Do you foresee, you kind of mentioned automation, do you foresee the AI itself turning on these controls, or is that, maybe it's like prompting to turn on? Like, what's the sort of balance of like letting AI touch stuff and not?
Yeah, in the long run, we see certain controls that can probably be fully automated and AI turning them on. It's not going to be everything. But there's a certain set of controls that customers are probably going to be comfortable letting AI manage. The things with a wide blast radius, where if something goes wrong, an organization's access to their Salesforce or email is shut down, that's bad.
Yeah.
But things that impact fewer employees, fewer entities that have a lower blast radius can probably be automated with AI. So it'll be a start with a small surface area, and then it'll gradually expand. But yes, absolutely. We see AI turning on controls, maybe as part of a workflow where customers need to approve it, but there's a role for AI in turning on controls.
I got paused for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about early adopters. How is the market responding to what you guys built so far?
Yeah, there are headwinds and tailwinds. The big tailwind is the shortage of talent, the proliferation of security tools. And one area where we are seeing a ton of traction is there are managed security service providers who are already entrenched in customers who want solutions like ours. They're already managing these tools for customers, and so they need help, and we are a natural plugin. And given our previous experiences with some of these providers, that gives us a head start. And then the second part of it is we also have built excellent partnership with some vendors, and their endorsements are helping us get customers. And so I think we are going to be a very channel-friendly company. We are a great add-on, a horizontal layer on top for a lot of our channel partners. So that route to market is very promising. And then with CISOs often, the average tenure of a CISO is 33 months. So they look for products that can show their journey, the progress they're making in terms of control. So all our visualization, and ability to map controls to different frameworks like MITRE, CIS, that is something that CISOs find quite powerful.
That sounds very powerful. Yeah. And fantastic. So what's the next year look like? A lot of integrations for you guys?
A lot of integrations and traction, customers. So we are working with a number of customers already, rapidly growing and making our product more and more useful for customers. I think integrations we know we can do. That's not the problem. I think if we can make it valuable for a large number of customers, that's probably the most important goal for us.
Yeah. So I think it's a fantastic mission for a cybersecurity company, and one very worthy of everybody stopping to look at. So thank you for doing this, and I look forward to seeing you at Innovate, at the Innovate Summit next month, the end of this month actually.
Yes, happy February, Eron, and looking forward to the Innovate Nashville Summit.